The 75-year-old mother. A woman who spent her entire life toiling for her husband and children. Yet deep within her heart she carried a secret no one ever knew. Hidden beneath her humble appearance was something that made her 3 children look at each other with unfamiliar eyes. There were those who once saw her as a burden, and others who never once asked how she truly lived. Only when she closed her eyes forever did they realize, with shock, that the most precious thing their mother left behind was not written in any will. A story that touches the deepest corners of the heart, leaving us to wonder, if tomorrow our mother were gone, would we truly understand what she wished to leave us? The evening wind swept through the areca trees by the gate, carrying with it the gentle fragrance of grapefruit blossoms. In the old kitchen, she sat on a worn-out hammock, her hand resting on her forehead, eyes closed yet not asleep. The creaking of the hammock seemed to lull her back to the distant years of her life. On the bamboo wall still hung the faded wedding photo of her and her husband. He had passed more than 10 years ago, leaving her to live alone in the old tiled house of 3 rooms. Her 3 children, each in a different place, only visited briefly, and then hurried away again. She never blamed them after all. Each had their own family and work. They couldn't always stay by her side. She told herself this. Yet when night fell, the silence of the house broken only by the sound of insects and the hammock swaying merged with her endless longing. In her youth, she carried baskets of vegetables to the market from dawn. Rain or storm, the heavy yoke bent her shoulders, as long as she could earn enough to send her children to school. With her husband chronically ill, every burden pressed upon her thin frame. Yet she never once complained. Her eldest son, Tree, was her greatest hope. The day he passed the university entrance exam, she wept tears of joy, even selling her pair of heirloom earrings from her own mother to pay his tuition. Then there was Kung, her youngest, gentle but poor in studies, the one she both worried for and loved the most. Her middle daughter had married far away, rarely able to visit, sending her mother small gifts now and then. A sudden cough pulled her back to the present. She reached for a bottle of medicated oil, rubbing her chest to ease the pain. The first chill of the season worsened her rheumatism. From the doorway, she looked out at the areca trees her husband had planted when their first child was born, now tall and towering. In the past, every afternoon he trimmed their leaves while she sat nearby picking vegetables. Now there was only her, with weeds overrunning the yard, untended. By the chicken coop, the flock she had raised had long been stolen by thieves. Quietly, she swept the yard, gathering the scattered feathers, without bothering to tell anyone. After sitting for a long while, she slowly opened the wooden cabinet and took out a bundle of old letters. They were from her children during their school years. "Mother, I miss you. I'll try my best so you won't have to suffer anymore." The shaky handwriting of those long-gone days still blurred her eyes with tears. In the late afternoon in the countryside, the wind rose, and the sky turned gray as if it were about to rain. The old woman quietly stood up and stepped into the yard to collect the laundry. Her legs were weary, yet in her heart flickered an unfamiliar thought. Perhaps she should go to the city and stay with her children for a few days, for living alone in the village was far too lonely. She looked up at the sky, where heavy clouds gathered, and sighed softly. A quiet decision, but she knew, if carried out, it would change the whole family. The village nights were usually peaceful, yet for her, sleep had never been complete. In the dim, cramped room, only the oil lamp cast a faint glow upon the ancestral altar, making the space feel even lonelier. She lay facing the wall, hugging her old, worn pillow, listening to the sound of rain on the tiled roof. She couldn't tell whether it was the real rain or the rhythm of time beating against her life. At 75, what kept her awake was not illness, but the solitude seeping into her body like cold mist into her bones. Some nights, she dreamt of her husband sitting under the porch, fanning himself with a palm leaf fan, smiling with toothless lips. "Where have you been so long? I've cooked soup, come eat before it gets cold." She startled awake, only to see the dark kitchen, hear the wind whistling through the door cracks, and realize that pot of soup had been 10 years in the past. Every night it was the same. She brewed hot water, lit an incense stick, and cracked the window open as if waiting for someone to return. But there was only darkness and the distant barking of dogs.